The great Bill Land joining us here on the Blitz. And Bill, I got to ask you about a call that you had last night and the origins of your call, because there's great debate on our radio station on the call for Joshua Primo.
Back out, Primo! Primo for Primo! And the Spurs.
Primo for Primo.
Well, most great ideas are not original, at least for me. And I picked that one up off of, I believe it was the Austin Spurs tweeted out some highlights of Josh playing in the G League recently. And I saw that on there. I don't know if that was the call on the broadcast or not. I just saw Primo for Primo, and I thought, that seems to fit. We'll go ahead and throw that out there. So I'll give credit where credit is deserved.
Well, so it's coming back to the origins. Our producer, James Pledger, who you talked to right before you came on, when Josh Primo was drafted, James Pledger has been saying, that's got to be the call. That's got to be the call. That's got to be the call. And then Carl Schoening, who produces the morning show with Rob Thompson and Rudy J, R&R in the morning, he does the television for the Austin Spurs, Bill's son. And he had the call the other day, and he finally used it, and our little group text was going nuts because James Pledger felt validated. But you would not believe, Bill Land, the messaging we were getting last night when you finally used it with the big boy Spurs.
Well, so actually it originated when the team signed it with you guys.
Yeah. James Pledger, our great producer, whose head now does not fit in his headphones or through the door, does deserve 100% credit for that.
Kudos, James. I'll tell you what. Thank you. Keep sending them, by the way.
Well, and again, we've been debating on what do you use? What do you use for Josh Primo? And quite frankly, honestly, I didn't think we'd have to use anything for at least a year. I'm surprised how much time he is getting at the NBA level this year.
Well, the Spurs have done such an incredible job of developing players over the years. And I think this year, with the team not being a championship contender, fans in general have thought, well, why not just keep him here in San Antonio? But I know the Spurs management feels, and I agree, even though I'm as hungry as anyone to watch that young guy play and develop, that number one, you need to earn your playing time. And I think they've done a really pretty good job of mixing and matching. He plays a couple games up there. They take a look injury-wise, obviously determines sometimes whether he's going to join the San Antonio Spurs. And then Pop put him in, was it I don't remember, it was Boston game, a little bit more in the guts of the game. And he played pretty well. At Washington, I think he had a couple of threes in that game. And so you're finding out that the guy's pretty much unflappable and got such a good temperament. It's obvious to me he's mature beyond his years. And talent-wise, what we saw last night is he's got a chance to be, I think, an outstanding defender as well.
Yeah, he really does. In the 18 minutes, a season high at the NBA level. And I look at him, and I don't want to put words in the Spurs front office mouths, but I think he's probably further along than they thought he was going to be at this point. When they drafted him and everything that we heard from Brian Wright and then Pop, I didn't expect to see him much in San Antonio. And if we got playing time, kind of the up 20, down 20, but he's getting important key minutes right now.
Yeah, and I think some of the thinking with the drafting of Josh was that if you project, if he had stayed in college, what he would have been in the draft next season, he's probably a top 6 or 7 pick, you would think.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, let's go ahead and get a top 6 or 7 pick, and let's just give him a year to develop. And I think that's a smart way to do it, because you just never know when you look at talent alone, how is the player going to react to being a professional? And the Spurs do a great job of surrounding those guys with the right people. and the help that they need. But you just never know with every individual. It appears that Josh is handling it great, and just excited for him. And that I just enjoy his demeanor. That he's not acting like, oh wow, this is a big deal. No, hey, I'm a professional basketball player. They wouldn't have drafted me if they didn't think I couldn't play here. He's obviously got a lot of confidence and keeps showing us something a little different each time out.
Certainly does. Bill Land, the television play-by-play voice of the San Antonio Spurs, joining us here on the Blitz.